So here I am today up in the surrounding hills of the Cusco area. Off in the distance there you can see the famous site of Sacsayhuaman, also often referred to as Sexy Woman, Sacsayhuaman, and pretty much at the top of the hills. So if you've seen my previous videos from within the city of Cusco, you can see the surrounding hills. Well, I'm pretty much at the top of those hills now. A little bit of the local wildlife there, and we will be visiting Sacsayhuaman later during the week, but today I'm just going to be walking around this entire area. Even the mound here that I was sitting on, there's definitely something underneath that. So I'm just going to be walking. I'll be taking the road up there. Pretty much this entire area is just a treasure trove of archaeological discovery. So we'll be walking around here. When I find something of significance, I'll take some clips. Okay, this doesn't seem to be showing up that well with the resolution, but there is quite an interesting looking stone cropping just through those trees there. We're going to go take a look at that at great personal risk to my own safety, i.e. dropping dead of heart attack at this altitude. So yeah, that's the direction we're headed at right now. Alright, so here get a little bit of a better look at where we're going, and there's a bit of an old wall or road here, track. It goes off to the side, so we'll be going cross country to the stone cropping up there. But let's just take a little bit of a look at this wall as we go. Okay, so here we can see the classic Inca stonework walls, but I'm actually more interested in these stone outcroppings here for reasons which hopefully I'll be able to find something to show you. Yeah, the Inca stonework, pretty much historical stuff, but I'm looking for prehistory, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to find it in some of this rock. In fact, even let's take a look at that flat face right there. So iron oxide, classic signs of metal. So what we're looking at here is actually the remains of something. Look how flat that is compared to this melted stuff here. So yeah, let's I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to need both hands free to get up to the top of that outcrop and see what's there. Yeah. Okay, so absolutely nothing natural about this at all. Nice little lounge chair there, but yeah. This is just the leftovers of what was once something much greater. Might just look like a bunch of rocks to you guys, but if you're into Tartaria or similar stuff, you can see that absolutely nothing natural about this at all. Nothing natural at all. Now, this is just the melted, or I don't even know what word to use really, but clearly this was something that now, I mean, look at that. WTAF, huh? I mean, what are we actually looking at? This is just something that's just been cooked out to the max. Down there at the bottom, by the way, That's where we were before when we were looking up at this. Oh, and look at this. Huh? They tell us this is all natural. Yeah, right. Ooh, do I risk jumping across there? I mean, under normal circumstances that would be nothing, but like I said, the altitude. We're at 3,800 meters here. Let's give this a go. Yeah, look at this. Huh? Nothing natural about this at all. No. Yeah. Alright, I think this is enough time here. Let's move on and see what else we can find. Okay, actually before we move on, just a quick look here. I mean, look at this. This is just meltology 101. Like, let's zoom out a bit. Yeah. Okay. Obviously this here, this is more modern. This is like Inca construction, but this is way older. This is something that's just been cooked out, been melted to the max. Okay, we're going to go through this Inca structure here up to the wall behind it. You say mountain, I say wall, and we're going to take a closer look at that. Alright, so here we are. There's a bit of Inca. So this is, we were on the other side of that before. Might take a closer look at that in a moment too. But here we are, classic Inca, and here melted, cooked out remnants. Okay, we still see here, although tightly fused, what was at some point stone blocks. Zoom out a bit more there. Okay. Here we go. Classic. Look at this. Let's zoom in here. You can see the stone cut there, going up vertically. Now, if you've never looked into Tartaria or melted rock, mud flooding, anything like that, to you, yeah, this is just going to look like what you would refer to as natural geology, but it's far from it. Far from it. Alright, back to Inca. More old world, pre-reset up there. We'll climb up there and we'll take a closer look at that too. Look at this thing here. Look at this. Not too much zoom. Big square block. Just sitting there. Alright, let's take a look at that little mound again. Just quickly before we move on. Again, blockwork. Melted, cooked out blockwork. Yeah. Oh, hello. And nothing to worry about here, people. Perfectly natural. This happens all the time in geology. Things just form like this naturally, according to academic textbooks at least, but far from it. Look at that, huh? What are we looking at here? And of course the Inca have just built all around this area. And here's, yeah, I'm even more curious than ever now about this mound. Let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, something was in, like, this is just part of something great. This is all that's left of something, for sure. There's nothing natural about this at all. Alrighty, so I'm going up here and I'm going to climb the Inca steps there, and we're going to see where that takes us. Okay, looking for a way up there. Just came across here, look at this. It's going to make it nice and easy for us. It's not obvious straight away, but steps, layers or something. And you can see, like, the stonework very, very different to the Inca stonework. This is something much older, much greater. Alright, I might need both hands for this, so see you at the top. Alright, looking down from the top, and look at that, totally cooked out, completely cooked out. And what's interesting is normally this kind of in-cut is preserved, so you see everything cooked out around it, but inside is preserved, whereas in this case it's the inside that's cooked out, possibly indicating what kind of structure this once was. Okay, my bad. I think maybe someone's just been camping here, and this is just the charcoal remains of a campfire, which would explain, like I said, normally it's the outside that's cooked, not the inside. Just give you a bit of a zoom out here. Yeah, I think this is just campfire soot. Alright, now I've got to climb all the way back down again. See you on the other side. Alright, so back down at the bottom again, that's where we were, and now we're right smack bang in the middle of some Inca structures. I'm a little curious though to see what's going to be at the top of that outcropping there, so more climbing and see you on the other side. Okay, only halfway up, that's where we were down there below. Only halfway up, but already look at these stone blocks cooked out to the max. Okay, I think I can probably do this with the camera rolling. Let's give it a go. Oh, looky down there. We're going to have to take a look at that in a moment as well, but in the meantime let's, oh look, yeah, nothing to see here folks, move along. What was in there at some point, huh? Pipe work, or is there some metal running through there? And again, look at the symmetry, the straight lines. Yeah, nothing natural about any of this. And zoom out a bit. Buenas tardes, amigos. Okay. Yeah. again. To the untrained eye, this is just... you could walk over this and back 100 times a day and not recognise what it is. Well, this is stonework. This is just cooked out, maxed stonework at some point in time. Oh, hello. More of this. Wow. Seriously, what the fuck happened here? Huh? This is just melted to the shit. All right. Oh, hello. Okay. Remnants of a tubeway of some sort. A bit of a zoom out on here. Like something was going through there at some point in time. Of course, we all know metal doesn't last long. So any metal that was here would have just turned to iron oxide and dust a long time ago. We're just looking at the stone foundations of what was, and totally cooked out. Hey, look at that! Look at that straight line. Let's go check that out. How do I get down there? Right, do I need both hands for this? Let's give this a go. Once again, putting my life at risk for your entertainment. Okay, plastic bottles, fucking tourists, shits me. Yeah, look at that, huh? Alright, now I need to find a way down. Actually, looking at the camera, it doesn't look that steep, but trust me, it's a long way down. And I really want to have a look at those stones down there. Okay, definitely going to need both hands for this. See you on the other side. Alright, so here I am at the bottom. We were up there, now we're down here. Now what I thought here was stone, it's actually tree. I have touched wood, tapped, it is definitely wood, but this highlights incredibly well the ancient giant tree mountain phenomena. And if we just look, okay, this is wood. This is just a tree stump. Right, let's just like take a look at that. All right. And now take a look at that. What's the difference, huh? What is the difference? Alright. Yeah. There doesn't seem to be a whole great deal up there, whereas I know there was a great deal more to see on the other side of that. So, gonna stop filming for a while, gonna walk around. When I find something of further interest, we'll start recording again. Alrighty, just before we leave this area, just another summary of what we've just looked at. Inca and before Inca, pre-reset stuff. Okay, so it's just Greenland from here through down, and we're going to take a look on the other side down the bottom. Alrighty, just reached the bottom. This is the Inca wall that we began with when I started climbing up the hill cross country. So that's where we were up there. Back to the Inca wall. Oh, goes off there, but I'm going to go back in the direction we came from. This takes us to the modern road, and I'm going to cross over that road and see what's on the other side of that road. Alright, so across the road, up and over a hill, and looky, this is exactly the kind of thing that I'm looking for. This is very similar to Saxe Huaman, which is, as the start of the video I showed you, not too far from here. So it's not like Saxe Huaman is a one-off. It's just an area that they've cordoned off. They're calling it a tourist attraction and charging people to get in, yet the surrounding hills of Cusco is just full of this kind of stuff here. So we're going to make our way down to there. We're going to take a closer look at that stonework, and also, as you've probably guessed, I'm really interested in that outcropping up the top there. Alright, this is a two-hand job, see you on the other side. Alright, so that's where we were. Come down to here, the stone wall here, but look at this up here. I've definitely got to go take a look at that. Again, untrained eye, just looks like rock outcrop, but no, there's going to be some. And look, there's a tourist party heading up, or heading down rather. So there's definitely something up there worth looking at. So we're going to go check that out as well. But first, let's take a look at this wall. In fact, here's a great example of contrast side by side. The old world versus the Inca. Just need to zoom out a bit here. So this is pre-reset technology. This is Inca. So they've attempted to do some repair work, obviously, along this part here. But no, this megalithic polygonal stuff here. I'll jump down there. I'm still up on a ledge. I'll jump down in a sec just to give you some size perspective. But look at the contrast, like Inca, someone else. Look at the size of this thing here. And here's a good example of probably some midway work. Again, there's the Inca stonework. But you see rock work like this, okay, it just looks like natural rock. So how much natural rock like this have you seen that at some point was part of this? Huh? I'll set the tripod up in a sec, and I'm going to stand next to one of these so you can get some good aspects. Oh, hello, look at this. Okay, this is a great example here of an intermediary phase of, you could easily confuse this as just natural geological formation, but we've got this here, section here, and then continuing on with the wall along there. Seriously, what actually happens during resets? I mean, look at this, huh? Look at it. I'm just going to go back here for the tripod shot. I'd love to get that big stone one in there. So, yeah. Alright, it's going to set up a tripod shot and then we'll continue. Alright, continuing on. That's the section we were looking at before, and now continuing on with the wall. Hello, see the shape of that? Yeah, natural geological formation, 100%. Hole through there. People are always saying if we could go back in time, they'd like to check out the construction of the pyramids. Now I want to see what was here. I want to live in this period before the reset. Like, it's amazing how many people know about, I guess, tour guides, but yeah, I've never been one really. But I'd rather just go exploring on my own terms. I don't want someone whistling and herding onto a bus somewhere. And you can just discover stuff like this by yourself. The wall continues around, goes down there. Much further state of degradation as it goes, but we're on the other side of the wall. I did mention I was quite curious to have a look at the stone cropping area above the wall, so that's where we're gonna head up to now. Alright, whoop. See if we survive. Oh yeah, look at this. Look at this. So when we first approached that wall, this is the stone cropping that we could see on top. So if that was a wall, imagine we're actually on the roof now of that wall, or a level of it. Look at this. Like I said, this is simply the stone foundations of something else that's long gone. Well, look at those steps over there. Yep, we'll take a look at those shortly also. This is definitely pre-reset technology compared to the Inca works that we were looking at before. And look at the natural curve on that. Huh? Just incredible. The stone foundations. Oh, I'd love to see what was on top of all this. Love to fly a drone over here. In fact, I might edit in a look from Google Maps just so we can get a bird's eye view of all of this, see if it makes any more sense from here. Look at this, huh? Look at this. Another good thing too, when you come roaming around here, as opposed to going somewhere like Sacsayhuaman, where you've got corded off areas, red cord, you've got security guards with whistles saying, no, don't touch, don't go here, don't step on this, don't step on that. You come to places like this and you've got unrestricted access. Okay, definitely want to take a look at that. I also want to take a look at those stairs over there as well, but let's take a look at that first. Well, that's not a bad view of Cusco in the distance. That's where I've been staying down there. Actually, down there somewhere in there is where I've been staying, and I thought the altitude, I mean, we're probably only another couple hundred meters, but wow, it makes a difference. And that tour group that was heading up there, and there's a bridge there as well. So none of these people a bus arrived, they all went up there, they got back on the bus and they left. That's another tour group. So whatever's up there must be interesting. So, oh my God, that's going to be a trick. And then you can just, actually there's the pathway, sort of snakes its way around. But hey, give me an update, people. Give me an update. The things I'm doing for you, huh? Yeah. Get your friends to update me too.